Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Itinamine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Itinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Vasadhya Nigatharine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Vasadhya Nigatharine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktarinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hari Bol Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Gauranga Nitai, Jaya Gauranga Nitai, Gauranga Nitai, Gauranga Nitai, Jaya Nitai Satsishundara, Nitai Satsishundara, Nitai Satsishundara, Nitai Satsishundara, Jaya Giri Govardhan, 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 Jaya Giri Govardhan. Kiba Chayo, Oh Chayo Gaura Chande, Tikojoba Chayo Chayo Gaura Chande Ara Tikojoba Chanavitaka Yaga Manalo Jaga Manalo Parakhi Chan Bame Gatadara Kakhi Bame Gadadhara Dikate Advaita Srini Vasa Gadadhara Dikate Advaita Srini Vasa Gadadhara Nara Vashi Yache Gaurachan Radna Simachane Vashi Yache Gaurachan Radna Simachane Alati Korena Brahma Ati Evagane Vati Korena Brahma Ati Devagane Narari Ati Kori Chamarajula Nara Hariya Vikori Chamarajula Sanchaya Mukunda Raju Gosha Achigaya Sanchaya Mukunda Raju Gosha Atikaya Shankar Vache Ganda Vache Vache Paratala Shankar Vache Ganda Vache Vache Paratala Madhura Medanga Bhajate Parama Rasala Madhura Medanga Bhajate Parama Rasala Shanka Pache Kanta Pache Madhura Bache Shanka Bache Ganta Bache Madhura Bache Shanka Bache Ganta Bache Madhura Bache Shanka Bache Ganta Bache Madhura Madhura-madhura-bhaje, 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 Hari-bol, Gol Hari-bol, Hari-bol, Nitai Gaura Hari-bol, Gaura Hari-bol, 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 Gaura Hari-bol, Bahu Kati Chandra Chini Vajana Ujvala Bahu Kati Chandra Chini Vajana Ujvala Kalate Shevana Mala Kore Chalamala Galla Deshevana Mala Kore Chalamala Shiva Shukka Narada Shiva Shukka Narada Preme Gatha Gatha Bhakti Vinoda Deke Gaurara Sampada Bhakti Vinoda Deke Gaurara Sampada Giva Jayo Jaya Gaura Chande Aradhika Shobha Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Aradhika Shobha Navitata Vane Jagamanalopa Navitata Vane Jagamanalopa Gaurange Aroti Shobha Jagajanamalopa Gaurange Aroti Shobha Jagajanamalopa Gaurange Aroti Shobha Jagajanamalopa Gaurange Aroti Shobha Jagajanamalopa 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 Hari-bol, Gaur Hari-bol, Hari-bol, Nitai Gaura Hari-bol, Nitai Gaura Hari-bol, 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 Gaura Hari-bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Gauranga, Gauranga, woo! Gauranga, Jaya Gauranga, Gauranga, Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Nitai Sachisham, Jaya Nitai Sachisham, Nitai Sachisham, Nitai Sachisham, Jaya Nitai Sachisham, Nitai Sachisham, Nitai Sachisham, Jaya Nitai Sachisham, Jaya Giri Govardhan, 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 Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Shri Nitai Sachi Sundara Ki Jai, Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai, Gaura Premanandi, Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Vatakacharya Shatarashad Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parachakacharya Shatarashad Shri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananda Kodi Vaishnava Vrinda Ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem se kho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudhi Gaura Bhaktarinda Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Shri Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Ganga Maya Mudamai Ki Jai, Tulasi Devi Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhaktarinda Ki Jai, Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna, welcome. Jayanti Bai. Hare Krishna, Prakash, welcome. What beautiful lords we have today. Beautiful blue, sky blue outfit. Smilingly shining, bright like a million suns. Hare Krishna. Okay. Let's look. We had a beautiful verse last session. I will read that verse, the translation, so we get the connection. And then we come to today's verse or verses. Sorry, the microphone has to come a bit closer. Okay, that is better, I hope. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 13th chapter, text 31. The chapter is entitled Nature, the Enjoyer, and Consciousness. Through distinctive features, nature, material nature, the enjoyer, and consciousness. Dharm, not Dharm, Vijay. You have to change your Zoom login to Vijay.
Yeah, I'll do it now. So,
I call you Dharma Divandra. I don't want that. Vijay, that's your name. Jai and Vijay. Thank you for coming. Okay.
yeah.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So Bhagavad Gita 13:31 as a connection from last session. When a sensible man ceases to see different identities due to different material bodies, and he sees how beings are expanded everywhere, he attains to the Brahman conception. Brahman conception. So today's verse, Anaditvam nirgunatvat Paramatmayam avyaya Sharirastopi kaunteya Nakarotina lipyate. Translation. So with the vision of eternity can see that the imperishable soul is transcendental, eternal and beyond the modes of nature. Despite contact with the material body, O Arjuna, the soul neither does anything nor is entangled. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. A living entity appears to be born because of the birth of the material body. But actually the living entity is eternal. He is not born, and in spite of his being situated in a material body, he is transcendental and eternal. Thus he cannot be destroyed. By nature he is full of bliss. He does not engage himself in any material activities. Therefore the activities performed due to his contact with material bodies do not entangle him. Amagnati mirandasya gananshana shalakaya chakshurun militam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manupishtam Shtapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutaputa Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakrajhatam Zagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sachivam Satvaitam Savatutam Parichana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Badan Sahagana Lalita Shivishakhan Vitamscha E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanda Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpata Rupascha Kripa Sindhupya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasati Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. A translation again. Those with a vision of eternity can see that the imperishable soul is transcendental, eternal and beyond the modes of nature. Despite contact with the material body, O Arjuna, the soul neither does anything nor is entangled. So first of all, we need to adopt the vision of eternity. Not that easy, but for devotees it's actually very easy. Because we hear, we chant, we hear from the right source, we are in contact with the pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada, and to develop that vision of eternity for devotees is not that complicated. Because as devotees, we understand we are not this body, we are spirit, soul, we are not this mind either, we are not this false ego either, any of this, we are not the intelligence either. We don't identify with the gross body, bhumi, nalo, earth, water, fire, air, ether. Neither do we identify with the subtle body, mind, intelligence, and false ego, right? So that's a vision of eternity. The soul is beyond that material bodies, gross body, and subtle body of mind, intelligence, and false ego. And the soul is imperishable. And transcendental. Beyond the modes of nature, of course. Beyond the material modes of nature. Now here comes a more tricky bit. Despite contact with the material body, we have contact with the material body, right? Because we are situated, like a driver in the car, we are situated within this material body. The soul neither does anything nor is entangled. So that needs to be understood. How is that? The soul does not do anything, nor is the soul entangled. Let's look at consciousness. Consciousness is explained in the Shastra, is a symptom of the soul. When the soul leaves the body, consciousness disappears from the body. And everybody says, he left, he, she left. What has left? The consciousness has left. The soul has left. The body remains on the bed. So if we look, and we have done that several times, we compare with a material example, just to make us understand. We're sitting in the cinema, right? We're watching the film. We are not in the film, neither the hero nor the villain nor any in between. We're sitting on the seat and watching some light beams hitting the screen, and the action takes place there on the screen. So we are just watching or observing. So the consciousness is similarly. We are the observer. We, the spirit soul, we are the observer. Like the spectator in the cinema. That's we. We are not the mind either. The mind is just bubbling up so many thoughts. So we can observe the mind. I hope we can. In meditation, we can observe the activities of the mind. Not that we think, I'm thinking this and that. No, I'm not thinking, the mind is thinking. We can observe that thinking mind. What is this fellow coming up now? What does he want now? Right? We can, I want this, I want that. What is this fellow mind coming up with now? What does he want? I'm just observing the mind. So I'm not the mind, I'm observing the mind. And then I have, of course, freedom. If we can understand we are not the mind, we have freedom. The mind wants this and that. Shall I give it or not? I'm not forced to give it. If I distance myself as the observer, I can make a decision. Shall I get it? Shall I not get it? But if we identify with the mind, then we have to get it. Because we think I am, I want this. No, I don't want this. The mind wants this. So then we allow it or don't allow it. If it's against the principles of Krishna consciousness, we say, no, my dear mind, sorry, you can't get it. You can't go in the restaurant and have or in the pub and have a pint of beer. Sorry, my dear mind, you cannot have that. It's against the principles of Krishna consciousness. And those who identify with the mind, I'm so thirsty, I want to get a pint of beer. And they have to get it. Otherwise they will be frustrated. So similarly, we the observer, the consciousness, we the soul, we don't do anything. We're just observing. And therefore the soul is never entangled. Because if we take part in the action, we become entangled. Like in this material world, we take part in the action, we become entangled. Because immediately there's action, reaction, action, reaction, action, reaction. Good karma, bad karma, all the time. But if we are conscious, we are just the observer. We're not acting. We are just watching the film in the cinema. Then we don't become entangled. And we don't do anything. Who is doing? Who does the doing? Who is doing? If we don't do anything, we, the soul, consciousness, if we don't do anything, who is doing? The interaction of the three modes of material nature. They are doing. And the mind, the material mind, has desires. They need to be fulfilled. If they're not fulfilled, then in next lifetime we get another body to have them fulfilled. If there's only a pinch of material desires at the time of death, then we'll have to come back to have it fulfilled. So we have to attain pure Krishna consciousness, pure devotional service in this lifetime. It's very much possible. Let's look at this purport by Srila Prabhupada. Short purport. A living entity appears to be born. It appears so. But actually it's not born. We're not born. The body is born, but we, the soul, the living entity inside the body, we are eternal, unborn, just like Krishna. Just like Krishna. And Krishna affirms it in Bhagavad Gita. He says, my dear Arjuna, you, me, and all these kings on the battlefield, we are eternally individuals. Eternally. In different material bodies. The body has to change. We don't have any choice. We have come to this material world, temporary world. The body is composed of material elements. So which is subject to time. And if whatever is subject to time has to be born, stay for some time, and decay. Everything is decaying, everything material, everything, including our body. But the soul is not material, the soul is eternal spiritual energy. Not only energy, and form also. So we are the soul, we are eternal and spiritual, so we are not subject to the interaction of the modes of material nature. So eternal, yes. Not born. The soul is not born at any particular moment in time. The soul is eternally existent. And also situated in the body. We are transcendental and eternal. This has all very big implications. If we can maintain this vision, this understanding, throughout our day, 24 hours, 365 days a year, all our lifetimes, then we are in perfect Krishna consciousness. And we see things as they are. Thus, the living entity cannot be destroyed. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, the soul cannot be burned by fire, not be cut by any weapon, nor moistured, nor dried out, nor nothing of that sort will affect the soul. Nothing can destroy the imperishable soul. And more than that, the nature, our nature is full of bliss. And we can taste that bliss if we are on the spiritual platform. If we materially identified as man and woman or anything in between nowadays, or if we identify with our nationality, with our ethnicity, with our country of birth and all that, then that blissfulness of the soul cannot arise. It's covered over. If we get free of all these upadis, vinimuktam tatparet paratvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti uchyate. A beautiful verse which describes upadis, our material identifications. If we are free from those upadis, then we become blissful. We are not identified materially. We are that eternal spirit soul which is just the observer, sitting on that chariot of the body. Blissful. Everybody likes to be happy. Everybody likes to be blissful, but people don't know how to become blissful. By understanding our spiritual identity, and that we are not materially identified. We, the soul, consciousness, the observer, we are not identified materially. And if we do, then we be covered over and the blissfulness descends into miserable condition of life. He, the soul, we, the consciousness, engage ourselves in material activities. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada says, the activities performed due to the contact with the material bodies do not entangle us. So, we are not entangled by the material activities. But if we identify with these activities on the path of karma, and we want to enjoy the fruits of our activities, then we become entangled. The soul not, but we have to take another birth. Some can understand that truth, and they don't understand how to adjust. So they adjust by wanting to merge into the impersonal energy of the Lord. Nothing is impersonal in its essence, because behind everything there is a Supreme Personality of Godhead who is a person. So even though the material energy or the Brahman, everything rests on that Brahman, spiritual effulgence of the Lord, that may appear to be impersonal Brahman, and it is, but behind that impersonal Brahman is a personality, Supreme Personality of Godhead. So nothing is impersonal in the final analysis, because everything emanates from Krishna, who is a Supreme Person. Some people don't understand how God can have anything else, if at all, like a material body. Because they think, with a poor fund of knowledge, I have 2 hands and 2 legs. So if God is a person, he must also have 2 hands and a legs, particularly if he appears in this human form, in a human-like body. So they're making these miscalculations due to insufficient knowledge. And Krishna, in Bhagavad Gita, he addresses that some think he takes on a material body when he appears, because people are not knowledgeable enough to understand, besides the material body, there is a spiritual body as well. So how does that spiritual body look? We may ask the question. If there's a spiritual body, material body. Krishna has an eternal spiritual body. How does it look like? He has 2 hands, 2 legs, beautiful smile, bluish complexion, and so on. That is a human-like form. In the Bible, Christian Bible, God says, I created man in my image. That's a very interesting statement. God says, I created man in my image. So man has 2 hands and 2 feet and 2 legs and a head, and so that's an image. So if man has this human form, then Krishna must have this form. God must have this form, because God says, I created man in my image. But this image is not a material form. The image, yes, but God is not a form, is not a material form. Also, it is a spiritual form which looks like, therefore we say a human-like form. Krishna has a human-like form. And in the Vaikuntha planets they have 4 hands, 4 arms, and crown and garland and earrings and bracelets and armlets and all of that, like Lord Narayan. So that is a Vaikuntha basis form. So form is always there. And some, they conclude, I want to merge into Krishna's energy, into Brahmajyoti. Then they're losing their individuality and they're existing as a tiny little shining atom within the light of the Brahmajyoti, like in the sunlight. The sunlight is actually made out of little quantum particles. They are shining. So this living entities absorbed in Krishna's effulgence, they are the shining particles of Krishna's effulgence. But because they are merged into Krishna's effulgence as tiny shining particles, there is no devotional service. There is no worship of Krishna. There is no interaction. It's just eternal existence. Nothing more. But we as spirit souls, we crave for variety. Already in this material world, we want variety, isn't it? Variety. If you have the same meal every day, same feast here every Saturday, of course your kitri is absolutely so beautiful. I think we could have it every Saturday. This kitri you did on Thursday, such a beautiful kitri. I have to do like that. It's such a wonderful, such a simple, seemingly simple preparation. Well, we could have that even just without potato sabji, just a kitri, maybe a little bit salad, lettuce to get that dryness away, or some pickles or some sauce or some. Though that kitri is so beautiful, but in generally, people want variety. They don't want to eat the same preparation every single day. So out of that desire for variety, the living entity absorbed in the Brahmajyoti, in almost all cases, falls down again into this material world. Because there is no activity, we cannot satisfy that desire for variety, and the soul is always active. The soul is always active. Even our mind is active. When we are asleep at night, we, the living entities, the soul, takes shelter of the subtle body. When we're dreaming, and there's so many things going on. Always active. Though that's the reason of the fall down from the brahmacharya, in most cases. And then Srila Prabhupada speaks about there have been many great sannyasis, impersonalist sannyasis, who desiring to merge into that brahmacharya. And then eventually ending up of doing some welfare activities in the material world again. They rejected all material activities and imagining themselves to be liberated. But then they're engaging in varieties of welfare activities as a sannyasi, as a Mayavad sannyasi, and acting on the material platform again because of want for variety. So this is a dangerous path. We could classify three groups. The jnani, or mental speculator. He searches after the absolute truth, but he, by the power of his own mind, he tries to achieve the absolute truth. And that's not possible. The absolute truth, Krishna, is beyond our material mind and senses. So finding through mental speculation, trying to find the absolute truth is very difficult. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bahunam chanmanamante jnanamam prapadyante vasudeva sarvam iti sa mahatma sudurlabha. After many, many births and deaths, such a jnani will eventually come to the point of understanding what I was looking for in all so much mental speculation. Actually, it's Krishna. He comes to the conclusion, what I was looking for many lifetimes, that's Krishna. And then he surrenders to Krishna. And then Krishna says, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Such a soul is very rare. So that's a jnani or mental speculator. Then we have the impersonalist, who only can understand the Brahman as, and thinking that is the supreme reality. Brahman, the impersonal aspect. But beyond that impersonal aspect there is Paramatma, the localized Vishnumurti in the heart. And beyond the Paramatma says Bhagavan, Krishna in all his opulences. So that's a very partial realization, the Brahman conception. Well, we talked in the last verse, and this verse also a little bit about the Brahman conception. And then, beyond the impersonalist, there is a Mayavadi. And the Mayavadis are actually offenders of the Lord. Why? Because they're going one step further. They're not only saying Krishna is impersonal. It's an imperson. It's not a person. They're saying Krishna, all these descriptions of Krishna, they're all product of our mind and senses. As if Vyasadeva has just wrote some fairy tales. All on novels. That's our mind and senses. No, these descriptions are revealed scriptures. The Vedic Shastra is revealed revelations, not a product of our material mind. Vyasadeva would not engage all his energy of writing the Vedas and compiling Srimad Bhagavatam just for as a product of our material mind. And then the Mayavadis, they go a step further and saying, no, the absolute truth is impersonal, and the absolute truth doesn't have any hands, He doesn't have any legs. He cannot eat, he cannot see, he cannot hear. He's just an undifferentiated Brahman. And then there comes an offensiveness in. Why? Because, let's take a material example. You love your daughter very much, and parents love their children very much. If someone approaches your daughter and you and says, actually your daughter is dumb and deaf, cannot hear, cannot speak, blind as well, huh? And your daughter is fully okay, she's not disabled, and someone labels her as disabled, blind, deaf and dumb. Now how would the parents feel? Very offended, right? Yes. Very offended. How you dare to say that to my daughter and to me? Because therefore, those who saying Krishna is impersonal, he cannot eat, he cannot hear, because devotees they love Krishna. That's a beloved Lord. They're completely in love with Krishna, like the parent is in love with his child. So therefore, when the devotee hears these descriptions, said Krishna is actually blind, deaf and dumb. He cannot eat, he cannot hear. He's just totally impersonal. Then the devotees feel very, very hurt within his heart. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada makes all these statements regarding impersonalists and Mayavadis, rascals, lowest of mankind, dushkritina, muta, donkey, fools and rascals. Sometimes we wonder why Srila Prabhupada using this strong language. That's why. If someone would insult your daughter, like she is deaf, blind, disabled, and so on, you would also have some word with that person. Oh, get out of the house.
Yes, I've done that.
You would say, yes? You would say, someone insults your beloved daughter. You would throw them out of the house. Right? So if someone insults Krishna, labeling him as deaf, blind, and dumb, then we, Srila Prabhupada using strong words, you are a fool. You are a rascal.
Where did the word Mayavadi come in?
Yes, good question. Where is that word Mayavadi coming from? Vadi means path. Because a Mayavadi is convinced that all Krishna's beautiful activities, his form, his pastimes, this is all the product of Maya.
So illusion.
Illusion. That's all illusion. The absolute truth is impersonal. It's just an energy. And everything else, all the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, Brahma Samhita, all this, Krishna book, all this description of Krishna's pastime, that's all a produce of Maya, of the material energy. Or it is just like saying, these are all imaginations of the mind. So this is therefore strong words for anybody who insults Krishna. And why the devotees feel so strong? Because they love Krishna, they're beloved. As much as a parent loves his son or daughter and will not have them offended and abused, so much the devotee will defend Krishna and not having him offended and abused. Because the devotee, for devotee, he has a relationship with Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead. Simple to understand. Very simple to understand. And Krishna, what about Krishna? Krishna, if someone is offending Krishna, Krishna is not affected. Like if someone is offending and swearing at the sun is not affected. The sun is so big, and Krishna is so great. Any offense or demons doing all kind of their nasty business, Krishna is not offended. But because the devotees feel bad in their heart, like the parent in regards to the children, therefore Krishna will act for his devotees' sake. And therefore it is said these proponents of Mayavad philosophy, they will be thrown in the darkest region of ignorance. Not because Krishna is offended, no, because Krishna cares for his devotees who feel very hurt of hearing such descriptions of the Lord. So the destiny of Mayavadis is the darkest region of ignorance, perpetually. Actually, impersonalism is atheism. That's actually atheism, because impersonalists, they don't have to. There is no God. It's all impersonal energy. So we have no responsibility. We cannot be held to account. I can act as much as I like. I can transgress. Well, perhaps I'm not transgressing the social norms, but anything else. I can eat whatever I like. I can drink whatever I like, because there is no God. So this is very destructive. It's atheism in disguise. Also, Shankaracharya, who is usually the leader of the impersonalists and Mayavadis, he has spoken and emphasized the impersonal aspect of the absolute truth. And that is a fact. The absolute truth has three aspects: the impersonal aspect, the localized Paramatma, and Bhagavan, the supreme blissful personality of Godhead. So they emphasize, Shankaracharya, he emphasized the impersonal aspect. Also, he is an incarnation of Lord Shiva. So Shankaracharya, Srila Prabhupada writes, Shankaracharya is not at fault. But the followers of Shankaracharya, they have distorted everything, because Shankaracharya, in his later days, he made it very clear to everyone. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam Mudamate. You fools and rascals. He spoke to his followers. You are all fools and rascals, because you trying to find the root meaning of a word in the interpreting Vedanta philosophy, Vedanta Sutra, you in so many different ways, just to prove that God is impersonal. But I tell you, you are mutas, you are fools and rascals, because this kind of impersonal interpretation, it will not save you at the time of death. What will save you at the time of death? Chant, remember, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. Think of Krishna. Krishna will save. Worship Krishna. So that is his last instructions. And as we know, if someone gives so many instructions, his last or next newer instruction will supersede the old instructions. He may have given so much instruction emphasizing the impersonal. He's not at fault. The impersonal is a reality. But the followers who just, who are Mayavadis, who denying, who think Krishna is dumb, deaf and blind, they're at fault. He said, no. Shankaracharya said, worship Govinda. Worship Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. And he says it 3 times. That's also of very great significance. If someone says something 3 times, you must do this, you must do this, you must do this, then that must be done. That's important. Like Lord Chaitanya says, Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva kevalam, Kalaunasteva, 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 3 times. There is no other way in this age of Kali to attain self-realization than by chanting the holy name of Krishna. 3 times something repeated, it's a must. So that as a Mayavadis, Lord Chaitanya said, I would be rather be in a cage with a tiger than hearing Mayavad philosophy. That should make it clear, because it twists one's mind. So that is this verse. And because you ask, what does Mayavadi mean? No, here we have given some explanation.
For the food service.
Yes, so we're going on to the next verse, which is text 33, because a very short purport. The sky, due to its subtle nature, does not mix with anything. Also it is all-pervading. Similarly, the soul situated in Brahman vision does not mix with the body, so situated in that body. Very Brahman vision. Let's read Srila Prabhupada's purport. The air enters into water, mud, stool, and whatever else is there. Still, it does not mix with anything. Similarly, the living entity, even though situated in varieties of bodies, is aloof from them due to his subtle nature. Therefore, it is impossible to see with the material eyes how the living entity is in contact with his body and how he is out of it after destruction of the body. No one in science can ascertain this. This verse is just a follow-up of the previous verse, a bit more explanation. Example of the sky, it does not mix because it's so subtle. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. All-pervading it is. Similarly, the soul in Brahman vision. Yes, we must have this Brahman vision, that all living entities are equal. Brahman vision means we're seeing. What is that vision? We're seeing the Vishnu Murti, the four-handed form of Lord Narayan, of Lord Vishnu within the heart of every living entity. That is Brahman vision. Equality of all living entities, super soul, in the heart of everyone. Moreover, not only of all living entities, but within each and every atom. So, it's not, Brahman vision doesn't mean impersonal. Also Krishna's energy is described as impersonal, but actually it is not impersonal. The material energy is not impersonal because within each and every atom there is a Vishnu Murti. Vishnu Murti means a four-handed form of Lord Vishnu, of Lord Narayan, holding a conch, a chakra, a club and a lotus. That is within each and every atom, and which within each and every heart of every living entity. So where does the impersonal Brahman come in? Personality everywhere, in each and every atom. So, but the Brahman vision, it means like in Brahma Buddha Prasanatmana Shochati Nakangshati, Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu. Sama, same. Sarveshu, all. Bhuteshu, all living entities. He sees with an equal vision. All living entities. That is a liberated platform, the Brahma Buddha platform. He doesn't see that is an Indian, that is an American, that's a Russian, that's a Ukrainian. No, he doesn't see that. He sees spirit soul and Vishnu Murti in the heart of everyone. Without the Vishnu Murti, Krishna, in the heart of all living entities, nothing would work, nothing would function. Without Krishna being in each and every atom, the material energy will be unmovable. So Krishna is everywhere in his localized feature. But that Brahman vision is, there's another verse in Bhagavad Gita that a humble sage Almost identical conclusion. The humble sage, by virtue of knowledge, that is knowledge. This verse and the previous verse, we're speaking about knowledge, the difference between body and soul, who we really are. So the humble sage sees with equal vision a brahmana, an elephant, a cow, and even a dog eater. A dog eater are considered a very low class caste, eating dogs. We don't have that here in the Western countries. Maybe we do, I don't know. If some dog meat is served in some restaurants, perhaps, yes. Then these are dog eaters also. So, that humble sage, he can see they're all equal. Not the bodies are not equal. The elephant has an elephant body and the cow has a cow body. And the Brahmin has a human body. But equal in the sense they're all spirit souls with Vishnu Murti, the four-handed form of Lord Vishnu in the heart of everyone. So in that way, they are equal. That vision has very profound implications. Because if we see no friend, no enemy, no black person or white person or yellow person, no ethnic group, this group or that group, no male, no female, if we have that vision, so how can we fight? How can any country get us to fight? Or we're fighting. We are in war with that country and they're in war with us, so we fight. These are our enemies. These are our friends. So this equal vision is beyond enemy and friend. There are no enemies and there are no friends. So that is the Brahman vision. Let's go a little bit further. In the next shloka, 34, Lord Krishna speaks, O son of Bharata, which is Arjuna, as the sun alone illuminates all the universe, so does the living entity, one within the body, illuminates the entire body by consciousness. So that's a straightforward observation and straightforward knowledge. The sun in the sky illuminates the entire universe. And when the sun is not, or when some planets are very distant from the sun, then there is very cold, freezing temperatures. So our moderate temperatures are due to the presence of the sunlight and the sun planet. So the sun and the light, of course, also. So the sun is illuminating this universe. That's an example given. Likewise, the living entities, the soul, we, the tiny little, the size of the soul is described, just to give some example, as a 10,000th part of the tip of a hair. Just to give some idea. If we take a tip of the hair, which is already so tiny small, and we divide it in 10,000 parts, then that gives some idea of the size of the soul. It's minuscule, tiny, small, spirit spark, so powerful that it can illuminate the entire body with consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada writes, there are various theories regarding consciousness. Here in the Bhagavad Gita, the example of the sun and the sunshine is given. As the sun is situated in one place, but is illuminating the whole universe, so a small particle of spirit soul, also situated in the heart of this body, is illuminating the whole body by consciousness. Thus, consciousness is a proof of the presence of the soul. As sunshine or light is a proof of the presence of the sun. Well, everyone can understand this. When the soul is present in the body, there is consciousness all over the body. And as soon as the soul has passed from the body, there is no more consciousness. This can be easily understood by any intelligent man. Therefore, consciousness is not a product of the combination of matter. It is a symptom of the living entity. The consciousness of the living entity also qualitatively one with the supreme consciousness. That's important. By quality we are like the supreme consciousness, like Krishna. The supreme consciousness, that's an impersonal expression, but the supreme consciousness is Krishna, of course. So we are one in quality with the supreme consciousness or with Krishna. What are those qualities? Sat, eternal. Krishna is eternal, we are eternal. Chit, full of knowledge. Krishna is full of knowledge. We are actually full of knowledge, but if we are not awakened, our consciousness is covered, and there is so much tamagun, so much darkness, so much ignorance, that this knowledge, full of knowledge, that is covered over. And in different bodily manifestations, it is even more covered over. Like a tree, the body of a tree, the consciousness is very much covered by the mode of tamagun, out of ignorance. The mode of ignorance, covered. The tree is therefore, he cannot move, he's standing in one place, he cannot speak. He cannot wave his arms, he cannot walk. So that is a very much covered consciousness. And different species of life are covered to different degrees by the modes of material nature. The human form of life is very special because the facility is there to have this consciousness uncovered. Of course, within the human species, there are also various degrees of coverings there. Also, the human form of life it has a potential to rise to the highest evolution of consciousness. We hear so much about evolution, when some speaking about the evolutionary theory of Darwin, that from the monkey became a human being. So, but the evolution, that is certainly there are certainly different bodies. But the living entity within all these bodies is just the same. The soul is the same, with Vishnu Murti in the heart, every living entity. But there is also an evolution of consciousness. As a consciousness rises in the cycle of evolution from lower animals to higher animals, automatically there is a gradual rise through the species. And as a consciousness illuminates more and more, then so the material bodies are also more developed. It is accepted that the body of a cow is a gate to the human form of life in the mode of goodness. Or the body of a tiger or a lion is the gate to the human form of life in the mode of passion. And the monkey, as proposed by Charles Darwin, in the mode of ignorance, that the monkey is the gate in the mode of ignorance to the human form of life. So after the monkey, the mode of ignorance, human form. After the lion and tiger in the mode of passion, human form. Humans in the mode of passion. And after the cow, human form in the mode of goodness. And then in this human form of life we have the facility to evolve our consciousness through higher stages of consciousness, away from the influence of tamagun, ignorance, and rajagun, passion, and cultivate the mode of goodness. And a civilization based on the mode of goodness is a Brahminical civilization. Then, from the mode of goodness, which is considered a stepping stone to transcendence, from there we can come to Shuddha Sattva, which is pure goodness. Because within this material world there is goodness, but it's never pure. Pure goodness is not found in this material world. It's always contaminated with a little bit of rajas, passion, and tama, ignorance, in various mixtures. And that changes also. We sometimes perform some activities of goodness and some activities of passion and ignorance. Therefore we have Shastra to guide us how to perform activities in goodness, at least. And that's why on the path of Krishna consciousness, devotees follow certain rules and regulations to being established in the mode of goodness. And then Shuddha Sattva, that is pure goodness. That's on the spiritual platform, not material. Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness. So we can elevate our consciousness all the way so that we become eligible of going back to Godhead, either in Vaikuntha, as servants of Lord Narayan, or in Goloka, in any of the relationships with Krishna which are available, intimate, more intimate, most intimate. And then we realize our spiritual form. That is called self-realization, who we really are. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada writes, but the super soul, which is situated, super soul means, of course, Vishnu Murti, Paramatma. Atma is an individual soul. Param means always supreme. Paramatma, supreme soul, which is Krishna. So the super soul or Paramatma or Vishnu Murti, which is situated in all bodies as a friend of the individual soul. Why is Krishna in the heart of all living entities a friend? Krishna says, Suridam Sarva Bhutanam, Surit, friend. Sarva, all. Bhutanam, all living entities. I am the friend of all living entities. Why? Because Krishna wants us to rise in our consciousness to higher states of consciousness, to spiritual consciousness, and coming back to Him. Krishna wants that. Krishna doesn't want us to see us suffering in this material world. Because without Krishna consciousness, in the state of ignorance or passion, the living entity is suffering by so many reactions in this material world and so many karmas, distress and happiness, and repeated birth and death. That's the greatest distress. The greatest distress. Repeated birth and death. So Krishna doesn't want us to suffer like that. Krishna wants us to be free from that suffering. But why we are in this position in the first place? because we have become envious of God, envious of Krishna. Why should he enjoy as the supreme enjoyer of everything and all? Why not me? I want to enjoy. Therefore, I want to be the controller. I want to be the enjoyer. Therefore, people in this material world, they're trying to enjoy a variety of material facilities and ingredients, and they want to control everything and all. So this propensity has landed us in a material body in the material world. That's why we are here. So if we get reformed of transforming this enjoyment spirit and controlling spirit into loving spirit, into loving Krishna, this enjoyment spirit means lusty spirit, because enjoyment means lust in the widest sense. So that lust needs to be transformed into love. And then enjoyment spirit is disappearing. An advanced devotee or pure devotee, he doesn't want to enjoy anything. He only wants to serve Krishna in various capacities. That's his whole aim of life, to serve Krishna. And by that service and pure devotional service, he will finish this controlling spirit, this enjoyment spirit. All material activities will be transformed into spiritual activities. And we perform spiritual activities connected with Krishna. We certainly will not take another material body, because we don't have any material desires left. No more material desires, no more material body. Going back at the end, after quitting this body, to the spiritual world. No more coming back. That's the aim and goal of life. And we have mostly 100 years to accomplish this. Most people don't reach 100 years. 80, 90, even less. So we have a very limited 60, 70, 80 years. We have an opportunity to accomplish that. It's not accomplished just immediately. It's a gradual purification process. And as it is explained in Shastra, the first 20 years of life, let's say a man will reach the ripe age of 100 years. 20 years are wasted in foolish childhood, doing all kinds of foolish things. We all have done that in our childhood. Foolish things with no much meaning. If the parents would have forced us for any education, we would have just engaged in playing all day long. Right? Children like to play. But somehow by persuasion, and so they getting some education. So the first 20 years are lost with childish activities. That leaves us 80 years. The last 20 years are lost due to invalidity. We cannot practice much spiritual life in the last 20 years of our being in this material body. So this is also taken away. So that leaves just a very limited number of years. I think the example actually says 25 years, not 20. So, and if we waste this time also, that middle section where we can actually develop our Krishna consciousness, our God consciousness, our spiritual consciousness, if we waste that, then we'll be back in the samsara, in the cycle of birth and death. And we don't know what kind of body we get next time around. We don't know. If we have practiced Krishna consciousness to some extent, you surely will get a human form. Those who haven't practiced Krishna consciousness at all, they have all chance of falling back into the cycle of animal body. Some believe they believe in some reincarnation. Once you come to the human form of life, you cannot go back. That's not a fact. That's not what Shastra says. Shastra means scripture. Yes, we can degrade ourselves or elevate ourselves by our activities. We can degrade ourselves. A very crass material example is if in this lifetime we don't follow any regulation of Shastra. What to eat? Eating is a very important thing. It takes a big percentage in our life. We constantly eat. Everybody is eating. In the spiritual world, it's so nice. We don't get hungry. We're not forced to eat. We can eat for pleasure, but not like here. We're eating and we're hungry. We have to eat due to the hunger, and otherwise our body deteriorates. In the spiritual world, the body is never deteriorating. We can eat, but we don't have to eat. If we like to eat, yeah, we can eat. It's not that the spiritual body is deteriorating when we don't eat. No, not at all. So eating takes such a big place. So if we don't know about Shastra, what food to eat, what is human food, we think everything goes. I'm a human being. I can decide. I can eat the most abominable things. I can eat animal products, and so on. Everything. Then this human body is not very suitable for us. Not suitable. If we want to eat every and anything, we'll get sick. But because that desire is there, and that desire will award us next time around the body of a pig. Why the body of a pig? Because a pig can eat every and anything without getting sick. The pig body is made in such a way a pig can eat any and anything. So if we have the desire to eat every and anything, then a body of a pig will be awarded by material nature. So we can very well fall down into the animal species again. Or on the other side, we can rise in our consciousness and go to the spiritual world and never come back to this material world, which is a horrible place, full of dukhalayam ashashvatam, full of suffering and temporary, a very temporary place. So anyone who is a little bit intelligent, he wants to get out of that. He wants to go back home to Godhead. And back home to Godhead means with Krishna, either in Vaikuntha or in Goloka. And as Shastra says, if we want to reach Goloka, we'll have to follow some of the eternal inhabitants of Goloka, which are known as Bracha or Brijpasis. These are eternal inhabitants of Goloka. We have to follow their example. And one devotee has asked Srila Prabhupada, who shall we follow? We don't even know who to follow. We have to follow a Brijpasi, but who shall we follow? And Srila Prabhupada said, I am that Brijpasi. So Srila Prabhupada is there in the spiritual world as well. We can follow him. He's there in the spiritual world in his cowherd boy form, in his Sakha form, in his Priya Nama Sakha form. There are very confidential topics, these. Very confidential. Not everybody will understand that. And elevated topics, so we don't too openly speak about that. And here we stop for tonight.